Welcome back, everyone. Kinguin Pro League 2015, last match of this day 2, week 4.
Yeah.
You what, mate? I know, I'm sorry, I just keep messing up. So, this is going to be the last match of the day, which means after this, we'll have concluded an entire month of Kinguin Pro League, which means this is kind of a milestone. We have a total of 10 weeks for the entire event. This is going to be the end of the 4th one, and then that means, you know, there are 9 weeks of playoffs. So the next day that we're going to be doing next week is going to be exactly 50% of the pre-playoffs that we're going to be doing. So that's going to be quite intense. People really want to get their wins before that second phase starts, the second half, because that's when you're starting to grind back up or solidifying your lead. So in this position, players really want to get, they really want to race ahead of the pack in their group. So Xixo versus Thijs are going to be next. We saw Thijs play a little earlier. And he's going to be playing again. Both have a very similar lineup at the moment.
Well, that's for sure. And Xixo Hunter Mage Warlock, Hunter Mage Warrior from Thijs. The only Warlock and Warrior difference.
4 letters.
Yeah. Oh, come on. those yokes. Well, I'm not exactly sure why Thijs brought the Warrior. I'm thinking about it. It's like most players are backing out of picking Warrior from the lineups, right?
And they have.
And Thijs is on the other side of that branch. Like he picks now the Warrior when we are thinking that nobody is picking the Warrior anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, if he feels comfortable with it, then that's perfectly fine. And also, it's a deck that you can adapt, sort of, if you expect. If you pick a deck that you're not going to be predictable with, that's what you want to do, really.
Maybe Thijs predicted that Xixo will play Face Hunter, and this is the reason why he picked the Warrior.
Xixo's a very aggressive player, so that definitely makes quite a lot of sense. So we're going to be jumping in the game very shortly. The Xixo's going to be playing his Warlock first, and Thijs is going to be picking up his Mage. If this is mid-range Warlock, typically a pretty solid deck against a Mech Mage.
Yeah, that's true.
To say the least.
To say the least. Yeah. That's the sentence of the day.
Yep, to say the least. There's always this little idiom that we just keep repeating over and over during the day. To be honest, I'm pretty curious, and to say the least, those are the 3 of the day. If you haven't caught on yet.
Oh,
so
look, that's a freeze mage.
Yeah. For the freeze
against a demon lock or weird lock with an Illidan. Nice.
Well, I think Thijs is prepared though, because this is not a bad matchup for the mage in general. Unless something goes awfully wrong, this is generally pretty winnable. I mean, Warlocks are known for having a weakness to freeze mage in general, unless I'm mistaken.
No, you're not mistaken. At least from my knowledge.
Mm-hmm. From what I remember, that was true.
So now. What is the strategy for Xixo here? Does he have to play the Mal'Ganis as soon as possible with Implosion just to stack damage as soon as possible also?
That's one way to play it. The problem is if you would need to be able to answer a Doomsayer.
Yeah.
Because if that comes out, then you're going to be in a world of hurt losing Mal'Ganis.
Well, Implosion and Dark Bomb seems kind of nice.
Yeah, oh, that Coil is going to be pretty useful this turn. That's going to allow Xixo to put down quite a big board, but the Explosive Sheep is right there to answer it. Although Explosive Sheep is going to put the Nerubian Egg on the board.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's quite a bit of damage that could be coming out here for Xixo.
No, it should be 2 ends, right, from the Implosion. We had 2, 3, 4. And now that's the first.
We cycled back, yeah. Our
yeah.
theory is false.
Yeah, it's something bugged.
Yeah. Arcane Intellect. Do you just drop the Explosive Sheep here?
I think you do. You have this second Ice Block, but you don't see to get any Doomsayers. So.
I mean, actually, if you play Explosive Sheep, you almost give him more damage. So you could just ping an Imp and pass.
What about just playing Falnos? No, you don't need so much cards.
So he kills one of the demons and just moves on. That's gonna be a very important card, that heal bot. When Alexstrasza falls down, if she falls down.
Frostbolt. So let's see. Oops, sorry. That was not me, though.
You might have to Frost Nova in this position, as awkward as it sounds. You're not clearing the board, but this is not where you want to be at this stage. No Blizzard, nothing.
No Blizzard. Blizzard will be useless also. Kinda.
Yeah, it would at least be... It would do something. It would slow down the board, at least partially, for the time being. Oh, man.
This is not looking good.
Yeah, and Xixo's investment on this board is very small.
So do you have to play Thalnos Frostbolt on the Illidan and then ping it?
I think that's a really good line of play. It removes the biggest threat, the biggest amount of damage, and you're gonna draw a card off of this, which gives you the ability to find those Doomsayers, find those Blizzards, and those Flame Strikes potentially.
Probably, yeah, probably yes.
Oh, a Doomguard, hello. And life tap.
Well, I wanted to say that one of the imps will be trading, but no.
Flame Strike is found. That's a sight for sore eyes.
It doesn't do much either.
It might make everything worse, in fact.
Yeah. Because now you can trigger the Void Color instantly. So that's a dead card for now. Oh, there's a Blizzard. But still,
this is gonna be a good Ice Lance though. This is gonna put a lot of pressure on Xixo because he knows that if the fireballs stack up in Thijs' hand, he's on a clock. And although he does have the heal bot, that's all he's got.
Still, you have to deal with the Antonidas. So you sacrifice your imps and Dark Bomb.
No, you abuse the Sergeant and BGH like a boss.
Oh yeah, that's also good.
No, it's not good. Yeah, you're gonna lose the Alexstrasza answer. You have to use your line of play was, I think, the best one ultimately. Oh no, he's gonna go for the BGH play. What? Okay, I'm out of this game. That's it. I'm taking a flight back to. Whoa, Dark Bomb the face.
That's the best aggressive move you can make.
Yeah, and now Thijs has to wipe the board. More than half.
Oh, 3 fireballs. Wait, it's 18.
Much damage?
No, he still lacks damage because it's only 3 fireballs. So he has to clear the. No, you can't. You can only freeze it.
What if you explosive sheep? Well, you explosive sheep and you Nova.
What about just Nova and pink face? No, that doesn't make any sense because you play extras and next turn. Yeah. And
I think Nova is good with the sheep. Because then you Alex and you win over 2 turns, unless he finds a Lotheb or some kind of massive damage output. Because he's got a full board, so he can't play anything on it at the moment. So unless he's got even more implosions, a coil, or another dark bomb for your sheep.
More implosions than 2.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not happening.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you.
All right. Well, a Frost Nova is coming down by Thijs here.
Pew, 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 pew.
And he pings the face.
Second pole warming. Well, that's quite an amount of damage.
Yeah, it's too bad he can't actually do anything with it. Well, that's going to be a coil, and it's going to allow him to play something else he wants. He can't make the mistake of playing the anti-heal bosses.
You play the Doomguard and count on not...
Oh man, can you?
Discarding anything from your hand apart from the Thalnos?
I don't know if you can afford that. Yeah. It's way too risky, I think. Well, we're going to see what Thijs does, but I suspect it's going to be a very standard Alexstrasza turn. Unfortunately, it's going to get potentially punished by the Mal'Ganis.
Oh, it's really rough.
I mean, Xixo could even play Mal'Ganis and sacrifice everything he's got into Alex and get himself a 7/9 Doomguard. Oh man, and actually Thijs after that point has to go full face with the fireballs until the ice block pops. And he plays a second block, so if Xixo finds another heal bot...
What about you don't play the
Alex?
Alexstrasza?
Yeah. So you just win by attrition. You can wipe the board multiple times here, it's really not that bad.
What about Fireball, Frost Nova, Pink Face?
Well, he's not doing that. He's gonna go for the typical finisher for Mage. Oof. Well, that's gonna be an essential card. No, that's gonna be an insane card. You play Mal'Ganis here, you trade everything you've got into that Alex, and you go full face. And then as soon as you think you're about to die, you drop Heal Bot Lothab over 2 turns possibly, and then you lock the Mage out of his ice block.
True, true.
Oh man. Yeah, that's what we call a good draw.
Yeah, quite a draw.
Okay, you could even trade Thalnos and your Void Caller, keep your 4/4, get the Doomguard out. Oh, this is perfect actually for Xixo.
You just slam the Lothab, right? That's it.
Do you play Lothab here?
Well,
I don't think you want to, but I think it's gonna be a double trade. Ooh, I thought he was gonna play the Mal'Ganis himself.
Well, maybe he will play it still. He can do it.
Yeah, but it was a gamble because if you had to play Doomguard manually, then you lost the ability.
What's happening?
I don't even know.
He's
He's gonna deal 9 damage to it and lock the board down. So Thijs
doesn't really make him win. So
I don't know why he did that, but we'll see. I mean, it still
now
works.
it's Frost Nova Doomsayer at last.
It still works, but I think it's weaker than the alternative Mal'Ganis. We'll see exactly what Xixo goes for. He might still be able to pull this off. There is
He
a
has
shadow.
no option to kill the Doomsayer. No, wait, he has
That's
to use
PO
it
shadow.
overwhelming. But this sucks.
No, it's worse than what he. Yeah, I think not playing Mal'Ganis last turn might have been a mistake.
Yeah, I think so too. Now you have to commit Deep Overwhelming and Shadow Flame.
Yeah, no, you have to commit that, otherwise the game is out of your hands. You can even play the heal bot on the back of it, so it seems bad, but it's not as terrible. The problem is now the Mage has 2 potential ice blocks, and you've just lost your Lothab. Oh man,
This is most likely over.
Do you start with Pyroblast? So you can go Fireball, Ice Block, and then double Fireball?
Yeah, I think you do start with Pyroblast. It's
Yeah.
the best. It's the best to use Pyroblast when you still have your ice block up.
But you know what's tricky? The Dr. Boom is going to be able to pop the Ice Block through the turn. So I think Thijs might have to go for more of a board control play here, as opposed to going for the win. Yeah. I like this. He knows that if there's something that falls down like a Dr. Boom or a Mal'Ganis, he's going to be stalled for a few turns before the lethal comes out.
Okay, that seems to be fair. Sylvanas. Well,
Can't
so
play
do you
with
drop Dr. Boom?
No, you can't. You have to play it when she's super low on health, so she can't Flame Strike at all. That way she dies if she tries to.
So you played Sylvanas, but that's not good also, I think.
Yeah, nothing you're going to play here on this board is good, because you expect the board to go. Right, that board is essentially dead to you. Okay, Sacrificial Mal'Ganis. That's a Flame Strike ping if I've ever seen one. Or Fireball ping, pick your choice, but I like Flame Strike ping a lot. It unlocks the board for him. He can actually just straight up go face afterwards.
Yeah, he can. And I like that.
Well, this Mal'Ganis was a bit unusual for Xixo. It's a bit late, I think. Now the Ice Barrier comes down, giving Thijs an extra 8 effective life.
Really well played by Thijs, though.
Yeah, very well played. This is the line. This is pretty much the optimal line of play that Thijs had to take as Freeze Mage, and I really, really like his Freeze Mage play. He seems to be a very, very strong player in that regard. Xixo seems a bit unfamiliar with the matchup. I'm not sure it's something you face very often anyway, Freeze Mage versus mid-range lock.
Might that mean so? Well, he's a great player, so...
Yeah, he is a great player.
But something seems to be off today. Like, players are making really more mistakes than usual, I would say.
So, Pyroblast, Fireball, and just seal this game, is my guess.
Probably yes.
Unless Kazan Mystic, but are you really going to play around something you can't beat? No way.
No, you can't play around that.
If he has it, you know what? You give him the game and you smile. I mean, there's only so much. There's only so much you can do, right? Like, if he's got Kazan Mystic, then so be it.
Yeah.
He life taps desperately to find something. And he concedes, doesn't even bother. He knows his opponent has 2 fireballs from the Archmage Antonidas, and Thijs takes the first win. Freeze Mage versus Warlock. Now, if this had been Mech Mage, the result might be different, but Freeze Mage apparently has a pretty good matchup in that scenario.
I wanted to say that maybe it's not as good as we thought. I mean, for the Warlock.
I think Warlock, mid-range Lock, has a pretty good matchup against Mech Mage, but against Freeze Mage, it's got the same problem that every Warlock has.
Maybe
against
less problem than Handlock, because it doesn't tap so much. It relies more on minions, so you know, you don't have to tap every single time to get those mountains out.
Right, you're not tapping into the drakes, you're not tapping into the mountains as often, so yeah, I could see that. So Xixo's going to be picking up his Warlock for the next game, so he's going to stick to his Warlock, and Thijs is going to move on to his Hunter, which if it is Face Hunter, could punish the Warlock start pretty severely. We'll have to see what Thijs plays. You said you think he's more of a Face Hunter player.
Yeah,
I mean, we saw him play that earlier, so this could still be the case. And the Face Hunter versus Warlock, that's a pretty devastating matchup if you're the Warlock.
Well, it's more devastating when you play Handlock than Weirdlock, right? You have the Mal'Ganis, you have 3 cards of Void Color, which can make a really big difference here. And you have Mistress of Pain, which heals you. With Abyss of Session, that's quite nice.
Alright, so it is in fact Face Hunter, the Leper Gnome. It's going to be hugging that Warlock until it dies or finds a Mortal Coil. That's a pretty good way to deal with this. With 4-4.
Yeah, and Basic Surgeons with that.
Now Thijs gets a good cure with the Mad Scientist, and then a Leper Gnome is going to be able to weave in his hero power. That's also very important. We mentioned that a bit earlier, but
the Iron Owl might be useful here.
But you play immediately?
I don't think you use it this turn.
Although if you don't use it this turn, then if you sacrifice your egg, he might trigger the Mad Scientist into it. But you're happy if he's trading, right?
Yeah, that's true.
If he takes his time, then you're pretty happy.
So now it's just Leper Gnome and Pink.
Yep, you just weave in your hero power every turn until the Warlock just keels over and dies. But now there's going to be a good Iron Beak Owl on that Mad Scientist, denying the first of 2 explosive traps. I mean, that's my guess, but it might not be the case. No explosive trap for Thijs. Now his hand is actually running pretty small here.
It's running small, but
he's got enough damage.
The time is, to be honest, time is on Thijs' side. In this
systematically,
because there is not so much healing in the Weirdlock as in Handlock, right? So you got bigger amount of burst from the hunter player essentially.
All right, so you can wipe this board with Unleash Abusive.
Do
You can
you?
wipe that as a
I don't think
5
so.
3 and a 3 2, but you don't want to.
You can let yourself get.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get the damage from the board from one turn. I think.
Yeah, what you want to do is you want to take your time here because at this point, if you're letting the Warlock dictate the trades after you've wasted your Unleash, you're going to be in a world of hurt.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think this is a much better play, and the Unleash here is actually going to be insane. This is the most insane Unleash.
Maybe there will be even a Knife Juggler draw. Nope. But second kill command.
Yeah, that should be game almost. Actually, you don't even.
So you unleash the Hounds, Abusive Sergeant,
and Hero Power.
Yeah, and Hero Power, and ignore the board. Or
you could hit for 5 since you have a Beast on the board, which you won't have next turn, and then you use the Abusive for Wolf Rider next turn.
Well, that's basically you with Abusive Sergeant and Hero Power. You deal 4 points of damage.
Kill command
will be +1, and then I think I would still rather use Abusive Sergeant because it puts 1 creature on board.
Yeah, I mean your creatures are all gonna die pretty much no matter what. Alright, so that puts Xixo on 6 health at the end of this turn, unless Thijs decides he wants to trade, but I can't imagine he would at this point. Not with a hand like this. He can seal lethal very, very soon.
Oh, he trades for the Defense of August. Doesn't make any difference?
I'm trying to figure out exactly what he's playing around. Either way, Wolf Rider Abusive Hero Power is going to be lethal, so... Unless Xixo top decks an anti-heal bot. That's going to be difficult, and that is not a heal bot.
It's still one chance.
And it's still not a heal bot. He's got 12 damage.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
Wolf Rider, Abusive Sergeant, and Hero Power seals the deal.
Yep, doesn't even need the kill command. The second kill command is just superfluous in this position. And Thijs is going to be taking this in a 5-minute game, I think.
Yep.
That's as fast as it gets. And honestly, this is one of the craziest matchups. I feel like it's so quick. Face Hunter just ends the games against Warlock so quickly unless the anti-heal, like if they don't find anti-heal bot or Sludge Belcher, there's no way for them to get it. Or a good Void Caller into Mal'Ganis.
Yeah, that was quite a hasty match.
Yeah, I mean it's as fast as it's gonna get, and that means Thijs has his 1 deck left,
which is Warrior.
And Xixo's entire lineup.
So I assume Xixo will go with the Warlock again. And then after Warlock will win, he will go for the class which is not Hunter, which was
Mage,
and then it will be 2/2, and
then Hunter at the very end.
Then Hunter at the very end, and the Hunter will get wrecked by Warrior. I assume that's what will happen.
Yeah, we'll have to see, but he does go for his Warlock at first, so definitely right there. So he's going to hope to get at least a tiebreaker, if not a possible reverse sweep. He's going to be trying that out. I mean, I feel like you really don't have the choice at this point. You're backed into a corner. 0-2 is the worst possible. You know, your mindset is a little affected by the fact that you got sweeped. And when you lose a game in 5 minutes to a Face Hunter as Warlock, it kind of sucks. I mean, you expected your opponent to go Warrior, and you got punished.
Yeah,
oh, the Doomsayer Thijs.
He likes that card, right? He did play that today.
I played it in every deck. I tried it out in Oil Rogue instead of playing, what was it, Shiv, I think. Some players were running some weird variants of... I played it in Oil Rogue, essentially, as a mass removal tool. It was pretty funny.
Okay.
Yeah, people actually lose to it by default against aggro. It gives your Face Hunter matchup a little bit... It feels a bit better. You drop it on turn 2 and you forget about it. Alright. So, life tap.
Okay. I think I was kicked out by the software, but we're back.
No, it's the internet that lagged out for everybody in your vicinity.
Oh, really? So we're going back with the match in a second.
Had a little bit of a technical issue there.
Excuse me?
We had a little bit of a technical issue there, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the game, alright.
Yeah, we can see the game. So we're going back to the game. And how it looks,
Looks like a zoo board.
yeah. Basically.
It looks like every zoo board I've ever seen. That's pretty crazy, though.
It's not looking grim for Thijs though. He got the bigger minion, and the problem is, the only problem is that the warlock will outlast him with the amount of cards he has.
Oh, there's a good brawl if that's needed. The thing is, I don't know how effective Doomsayer is in this matchup. You have to drop it preemptively, I feel, if you want to do anything with it. And then the Warlock just passes and lets you play. I guess you could use it to buy time at some point. So, abusive BGH is a possible play, but you're playing into Brawl pretty severely.
I think you just use the Mortal Coil.
I think he likes the abusive BGH, but it's kind of weird. Mortal Coil feels so much better with Void Caller on the back end.
What about just killing the Shields Maiden and dropping the Void Caller?
Yeah, that's exactly what I just said.
Oh, sorry.
No problem, man. It's getting late. So Void Caller comes out, which means as soon as that dies, then Xixo's gonna get himself a free, big Warlock minion.
Then this is most likely a Jaraxxus or Mal'Ganis.
What if you play a Doomsayer here? Oh man. This would be fun. Oh no! No! There's Jaraxxus! I'm kidding. It's fine. I just love to see Jaraxxus' weapon get eaten alive.
What? Well, you have the Shield Block Shield Slam combo for the from the demon that will be spawning from the Void Color.
Yep. Oh man, double anti-heal bot here for Xixo. 16 extra effective health.
8 left ups.
Snap. That's fatigue. Implosion comes out and...
It hits for 8. Now,
Wow.
of course it's 4.
Wow, that sounds good. This is a nightmare. At least there's a whirlwind in Thijs' hand. Oh man. Xixo is Dark Bomb in face because he over life tapped.
But I think he would have played the Dark Bomb anyway because he just wants to get that armor down.
Interesting. I like Acolyte of Pain Whirlwind. I'm not sure about the follow-up, but doesn't feel too bad. That is actually a really good draw for Thijs. Being able to use that Whirlwind for 2 things at once is pretty effective. Because he was, like you mentioned, the Warlock had a much higher hand, but this allows the Warrior to get back a little bit in the race. And oh my god, that could be impactful.
Yeah, that's true.
He has to make a decision, but I think no matter what he does here, he doesn't feel confident because if it's a Mal'Ganis that comes out, he's gonna get punished. He has to wait for next turn to use that second charge. And are we gonna see a Doomsayer? We see a Doomsayer. All right. Xixo doesn't even bat an eye. Like, I'm used to this.
No, it doesn't. Well,
Iron Beak Owl. Yeah, looks like an owl play to me.
I think you have to.
Owl with Antique or Owl with Defender. Yeah, it's kind of okay.
I don't know.
You have to silence that. Do you even have to? I mean, you have to silence the Doomsayer, otherwise you give your opponent the initiative on dealing with your demon.
But
And I don't think that's
is it a
something you really want to do.
Unless
You know what? What if you just play Jaraxxus, and you just let Mal'Ganis come out?
wanted
After
to
the
say
Void
that.
Caller comes out.
The,
I don't know.
he does
You've
ignore
seen
that.
Harrison Jones.
I like the idea of denying the card draw from the Acolyte of Pain, and you would deny the card draw with allowing the Doomsayer to pop up.
Yeah.
To blow up. It also leaves a target for the brawl.
Oh, 1 mana short of playing Doctor 7, unfortunately. But I think this may be a decent time to... You know what? It could have been better if he attacked into the Void Caller and then went for the shield block, armor up, shield slam.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Actually, now that I think about that, I'm surprised he did not do it. Now that I think about it. Well, you can play it slow. Either way, whatever demon comes out of there can get brawled as well, just like everything else. And
No, there's a
that...
Leyland.
Now that's a play.
So you play into brawl.
I've always had a soft spot for Illidan, but it's been so tough to make him fit. Not so much because he's bad. I mean, in situations like these, he actually is a really great minion. Because if they have a BGH and they use it there, then Mal'Ganis sticks around.
Yeah.
But it's such a tough minion. When you get it on curve, it generally just dies and does nothing.
Do you remember the old version of Illidan?
Yeah, I remember when you draw 3 cards and everybody discards 3. That was great.
Yeah.
6 mana, 6/6. 6/6/6. Everybody discards 3 cards.
Number of the Beast.
It would have been the craziest Zoolock deck though. Like imagine that legendary in Zoolock, you discard 3 cards. Okay, I don't care. Let me just get 3 more. It would have been the nastiest thing if that had existed back then.
This is the reason why it doesn't exist.
Yeah, they said it was because discard was an unfun mechanic, but I can tell you it would have been worse for other reasons than discard. Like it would have. I mean, imagine the power of that card in the aggro decks. It would have just been disgusting.
True.
Well, that may force a brawl from Thijs.
It would be like a better Neptulon.
Oh, brawl, shield block, armor up, shield slam isn't enough. How does he do this? He's gonna have to execute the demon that comes out. Then Illidan it dies.
Then you have to use
BGH
armor
as well.
up, shield slam, execute.
So he's gonna
Or the
execute
other way
this and
around.
brawl. Yep. And Mal'Ganis comes out. Oh my god, this guy's gonna get brawled. And if it doesn't get brawled, BGH will take it out. Oh man, this is not what Xixo wants to see. And then there goes poor little Mal'Ganis.
Oh, Mal'Ganis lives.
Not for long.
Yeah, true.
I am Mal'Ganis. Bruh. There was nothing there for him to do. I mean,
shot between the eyes.
yeah.
So
It didn't
what
last
do
very
do
long.
here?
You play
tap?
Illidan, you play Abusive, you drop Mortal Coil. Oh, that's a great
No,
card.
you just play Thanos and Mortal Coil.
Yeah, this got much better all of a sudden.
3, 6, how many cards? 3, 6, 7, 8. So you will get to 10 if he kills your Thanos. And the brawl was already being played, so you don't need to worry with the Illidan. You can just,
Yeah, you can flood the board and force him to deal with the same problem that happens when muster for battle occurs. If they don't have an AoE like Deathbite, this is going to be very
Wow,
troublesome.
look at this. You can drop Illidan and drop 4 cards.
Sylvanas Shadow Flame.
What about Illidan?
Man, Illidan is crazy here. Oh my god, I love Illidan in this position. This is definitely going to be, I think, an Illidan BGH.
Illidan, BGH, and what? I don't think anything else.
No, you just, well, unless you want to power whelm something, but what? You could Abusive Sergeant one of your minions just because. But it's
I
good
don't think
burst.
that's the case.
It's good burst. You could set up lethal now if you're in Thijs' position. Actually, how much damage is there? There's 7, 5. Yeah, you have to kill that Illidan with shield block, shield slam. 7 damage is not something you can take. But having that weapon is really important to kill the opponent.
Yeah.
Gonna be using that for Grom.
But you're still 1 point off lethal unless the bomb hits face. And you have to count there is no taunt in
coming
Xixo's
down,
hand,
yeah. And there is currently none, so as far as that's concerned, it feels like Thijs might be able to land the lethal. It's not impossible. We're gonna have to see what happens with the boombot, I think, ultimately. That would have been nice. With Grom though, that's even more
nice.
damage.
Now it has
Now it's lethal.
Yeah, that's lethal. But
That is not
wait,
lethal.
how many points of damage does... Never mind.
Oh wow, perfect boombot.
So now we just play Deathspite and go face, right?
I think so, but the thing is you're telegraphing you're about to play Grom, so maybe you don't want to do that and you just play Sylvanas. I just don't see the point of that if he's got Siphon Soul.
Well, on an empty board, Sylvanas doesn't feel so good.
Yeah, it feels like trash. It's just to put a body down, but at this point, with the combo in hand and a Deathbite developed, Xixo's on the back foot. He needs to find...
Oh,
and
Defender
he does.
Vargas. Top dicked.
Well, he might be forced to play subpar minions to get it done, though.
Subpar? You mean Sylvanas, which is not being traded by the Deathspite?
Yeah,
That's subpar.
Does he really have a choice, though, besides that? Yeah, it's probably like getting a 6/6 is relevant. It's pretty relevant.
Then Thijs has to answer that with Sylvanas of his own.
Xixo knows what's in Thijs' hand, or at least he has to suspect that's what's there. Otherwise, that seems like an unusual line of play coming from Thijs. But most warrior games end like this. They go for your face once, and you know they're setting up some kind of lethal. He can't tap here. He can't possibly tap. We've seen him...
Lethal that kills you.
Oh man, that's deep.
Thank you.
I'm drowning.
You need the rope?
Well, there it is. So, this is gonna be Xixo's misplay. He's gonna go for the double taunt with Defender, and I can't.
So double taunt is keeping him from dying.
Yeah, but look at this now. Jiraxis doesn't give. Jiraxis doesn't come out as a.
So you just drop the Sylvanas. Then
I kind of feel like it, yeah.
Then your opponent uses Sylvanas and power overwhelming.
And then you lose.
And you lose, yes.
Yeah, rest in peace. Maybe you don't do that. Oh, what if you just actually attack for 10? No, you just lose the game as well. You have to play Sylvanas and hope. Unfortunately. Well, maybe there's a second brawl in Thijs' deck. Otherwise, this is going to be really problematic. Actually, wait, how much damage is there? We have to calculate. There's plus 10.
8, 11, 15.
There's 13
17,
extra damage.
20. 20, 22.
Damage. Not enough. Let's see what Xixo does. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a really boring Sylvanas power overwhelming turn, but
Yep.
we'll have to see.
Yep. No brainer here. Well, I don't think Thijs has a way out of this situation.
Second brawl would be everything, but I really don't know. I've seen one player play 2 brawls recently, and Thijs was not one of them. Now he's relying heavily on that Deathbite to really give him the kill. Pretty much the best way he gets the kill.
He's still lacking a few points of damage, and that's the problem. Unless he gets like 2 silences.
Well, he has it with Cruel Task and Grom together. It's just that this board is completely locked out.
Yeah, but what I mean is, if he uses the weapon to kill one of the counters,
yeah,
he can finish off the second counter with the Cruel Taskmaster, but still he will be lacking points of damage, even with a second Taskmaster. It will be only 12.
Do you just? I think you still have to try to do it. Regardless, you have to go for the only chance you've got at this, and it's gonna take quite a while, but...
Oh, Doomguard. So how many points of damage is that? That's 4, 6, 9, 13, 16, 19, 24, 29.
Yeah,
so that's
that is
3
actually short of lethal, but quite there, honestly.
So...
You lose Jiraxis
Abusive
by
Sergeant?
so, yes.
Abusive Sergeant for your Abusive Sergeant to kill the Shields Maiden, the rest goes face. And you play Jaraxxus?
Yeah, that could be a play. I like that because it makes sure that the only thing that comes out of the Void Caller is the Doomguard, effectively. And it feels to me like this, no matter what is done here by Xixo, unless he intentionally throws the game, this is probably
Like
his.
sacrifices both minions with taunt right now.
Yeah, like loses both to Shield Maiden. That's the only way I can see him lose this. Harrison Jones would be cute.
Didn't he play it already? He did.
Yeah, he did. He already did. It got played on Shield Maiden. On, sorry, the Acolyte of Pain, the Implosion.
Way better than what I was proposing. Overwhelming Sylvanas. To steal another 5/5 and deal 9 points of damage, yeah, that's way better than what I said.
So here he's going to be forced to attack into this, and ooh, wait. So you attack? No, you're going to...
You're still dead.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's sadly, but... You'd have to attack first and then Alex yourself, but... I mean, he's going to die regardless.
What you do. Yeah. That's the
or
only
you
option.
Attack the 4/5, then you Cruel Task the 3/2, then you play Sludge, and then you die.
That would be a Doomguard also.
What if he leaves that 4/5 alive and doesn't let it die?
Well, that's the thing that Thijs is thinking, but it doesn't really change much. To be honest, it doesn't change anything. He's dead no matter what. If he kills the 3/2 and plays Belcher, that still dies. No, he still dies.
Everything. Yeah, that's the only play that he could have had to maybe live a little bit, but that makes the Doomguard come out by default. Well, he's gonna go for the as safe a play as he can come up with.
But still, too much of damage is being hoarded by Xixo.
Dark Bomb, Abusive, and Doomguard. That's more than necessary. He's not gonna go for the overkill, just a straight up weapon, Defensive Argus.
Xixo doesn't go for BM. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the first two games were too short for him to feel confident in his ability to BM and be taken seriously. So he just goes for the first win that he's got here against Thijs. So he's going to be able to stick. I mean, Thijs is going to be forced to stick with his Control Warrior, but the Xixo has Hunter and Mage left. So you did say that he would probably go for the Mage and then try to face Hunter last.
I assume so.
So we'll have to figure out exactly what he's got. I think you're right. Unless it's mid-range Hunter, it's probably going to be Mage first. Unless it's Freeze Mage. In which case, that's the last. And Xixo is going to be going for his Hunter, so maybe it's
really?
Freeze Mage.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, this might actually be the case. Because why would you not go... Well, unless you play mid-range Hunter.
Yeah, exactly. Mid-range Hunter is played.
Mid-range Prizes Hunter.
It doesn't know if it's aggro, it doesn't know if it's control, but it's got Savannah high main, so everything's fine. Well, that was a pretty crazy game, last one. I mean, Thijs was this close to winning. Defensive Argus coming off the top for Xixo was an amazing draw.
Yeah, he would have won 3-0 if not that Defensive Argus.
Yep, definitely. That would have been the game there, unless Xixo tapped into it and then played Void Caller. But even that wouldn't have been enough, because Void Caller Defender let the Death Bite trigger it, and then you can play Cruel Task on top. So...
Okay, let's see how it goes. If it's a Face Hunter, then it means that Xixo was playing Freeze Mage. And Thijs' prediction with Warrior was really great. I had to admit that it's the first time I actually say that in Conquest format, that Warrior was a great pick.
Well, if you expect Savage, I think, could get punished severely by facing off against a Control Warrior. I think he's played more Freeze Mage in this tournament than everyone else, unless I'm mistaken.
Well, he played more of a Fatigue Mage, and that's one of the decks that actually wins against Warrior, right?
I thought it was Freeze. If it's Fatigue, then no way. Warrior's a good pick. So this is, in fact, Face Hunter from Xixo, based on what I can see in that hand.
So we can assume that the Mage was Freeze Mage.
That, or Xixo feels really confident in his ability to get Huffers. Let's see.
Huffer?
Yeah, no,
of course. Yeah, that's a Huffer.
You know what? I think I was spot on with that one. I'm just curious to know though. Oh, that's a pretty cool card. Oh man, I would have slammed that on the board. I would have slammed that Doomsayer. That's a good turn 4 play either way.
Well,
Snake
it
Trap.
sucks for Thijs. It doesn't look good at all right now because of that Huffer, you know?
As I said, if Xixo feels confident in his ability to top deck or to get Huffers, everything could go well. And so far, so good. Thijs doesn't find
So
any
now you throw
whirlwinds.
the Doomsayer and armor up.
Armor up.
And then 10-5. Well, Xixo maybe will drop. Will he?
Just
No,
Snake Trap, Hero Power. Do you just let that guy die and just hit for 4?
I don't think so.
Yeah, me neither.
Maybe just use Wolf Rider and Huffer to kill the Doomsayer.
If the whirlwind hits, you're dead. Well, you're not dead, but you're losing a lot of value.
Yeah, not so much.
Not so much. You're losing Wolf Rider and Huffer. Oh man, he's gonna kill this. No. Harrison Jones is a dead card.
Well, that was almost like a healing touch.
Yep. Too
Now
many healing
you
touch.
play
Too bad.
Acolyte of Pain
And
and
hope for the
Hero
best.
Power, right?
Yeah, I think you want to hero power as often as the enemy hero power does, at the very least, and even more. Good thing you've got the Shield Maiden next turn, and the thing is, he's got Alex Straza, so he can stabilize. The problem is the amount of burst that Xixo's packing in his hand right now is obscene. He's even got a second bow to make sure that he doesn't lose consistent damage output. The draw comes for Thijs. It's gonna be useful. It's an execute, not bad. That can kill a Huffer.
Yeah, and you pair it up with Harrison Jones. But it doesn't look good for Thijs at all.
The thing is, oh, that improves the odds quite drastically. He gets to curve in everything. Oh man. That's actually much better now. With the Shield Maiden, he's got a Fiery War Axe, Shield Block.
So what's your turn 7 then?
No, Shield Block, Fiery War Axe, Armor Up. That's 7 plus
Yeah.
7 health, plus card draw, and you've still got a Shield Maiden and a Ragnos.
That should be good.
Plays a Snake Trap. Thijs is gonna need an AoE.
SAP.
Yeah, like right now, in fact.
That's not it.
Well, that's
So
not an
you-
AoE, but you can. Does he know that? Let's see where the knives go. It's gonna be the Knives of Doom. One
Thijs
goes.
is surprised by
face.
that.
I
He
would be
doesn't have an
surprised
answer to-
too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really surprising tech. Something I haven't seen in quite a bit, but it effectively puts 3 damage on the board. So I can't fault him for playing that. But
No, so you play Belcher and Armor Up?
I think you either armor up or play Fiery War Axe. It's and you kill a 1/1. You pick your choice.
Well, you need the health as
Yeah.
I think it's more needed
more
than
important,
the armor than the weapon.
And I mean, you would still be getting a Shield Maiden turn 8 with a potential Fiery War Axe or armor up. So I guess either way, it adds up to the same thing as long as you're not dead right away. And Kill Command gets slapped on that Sludge Belcher.
We can't forget that there's an Alex Straza in Thijs' hand.
Yeah, that's one of the things I
still-
said very early. Like, if he manages to squeeze to turn 9, he's going to be able to at least recover some amount of health.
But still, he has to somehow clear the board before he plays Alex Straza. So
Xixo is not going to give him more mana right now. There's no way.
yeah. So most likely we'll see a Shields Maiden Hero Power. Oh wait, there's a
Well,
Belcher.
Belcher shield block after hitting that snake, or the leper gnome. I don't know. I like Belcher because it prevents so much damage.
So
from
what
going
about you kill the leper gnome because you got to 6 points of health. Then you armor up
and shield
with
maiden?
Shields Maiden. Yeah.
Nah, I just play Belcher. I don't know. I feel like Belcher tanks even more damage. Well, you're right. Apparently, he's gonna play around the Iron Beak.
But I think he played Shields Maiden before Belcher because he wanted both cards to be effective. And if you would play them the other way around, then you would lose one attack with the Shields Maiden.
Is that lethal? I'm calculating. There's 7,
sorry,
9, 10, 11. No, he's 2 off. Alexstrasza is going to save him, bring him back from the brink of death.
Phew, I was close.
He's not out of the woods yet, but
Definitely not.
there's a possibility. A faint hope. Oh my god!
Wow! Oh wow!
This
So
deck.
you killed the haunted creeper, right?
Actually, the question... No, I think you kill... Oh man, I almost want to kill the Arcane Golem. You can let your Shield Maiden die. I know you don't want to, but you have to.
I would rather kill the Archon Golem.
Yeah. I think the 2
I
damage...
mean the haunted creeper, sorry.
But she's getting killed anyway, so there's no beast for the kill command. Oh man, that was really tense. But now Xixo's gonna go full on aggression. He's got nothing else to do with that Sludge Belcher, and the shield block should be putting a stop to whatever he's trying to do.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is very nice ending. Obviously, Warrior's best chance here is to get that Alexstrasza late game and quite a bit of armor. And he found 1 Shield Maiden, I believe 2 shield blocks.
Mm-hmm.
That was very important for him.
So you drop Belcher, shield block, and armor up, right? And you go phase for 8.
Yeah, you draw first in case you find maybe a second Whirlwind if you're lucky. I don't know if he runs
that
two.
was insane.
Obviously, no second Whirlwind. Otherwise, why would you do that? Yeah, definitely no second Whirlwind. Oh, well, that's a nice pickup.
Yeah.
Count it up. And now Xixo's probably going to have to concede, and he does. That's going to be game. Thijs takes the series with an amazing Alexstrasza versus Face Hunter, who, despite the fact that this was, I'd say, a pretty weird matchup and not exactly an amazing one, manages to... I mean, Thijs stabilized, just got the game in his pocket.
That was really, really close.
Yeah, I mean, usually a lot of the time when Warrior wins against Face Hunter and the Face Hunter got a good start, it's usually because of Alexstrasza. You know, they can play Shield Maidens, the armor ups help a bit. That Whirlwind was also pretty good, removing more stuff on the board. So Warrior has the tools, it just needs to get them together. Had a really rough start, no weapon. Yeah, ultimately, the predictions came true. Control Warrior beats the Face Hunter.
Yeah, one of my predictions was not true because I thought Xixo would play Mech Mage, and obviously he wasn't playing it. But still, really nice match played by both players, and was entertaining to watch.
Yeah, and what I'm curious about though is what the mage was from Xixo. I'm trying to figure out whether it was Mech, Freeze, Value Mage with Echoes of Medivh. I think that would have been great against Warrior, but he knows better. Probably was a Freeze Mage or some such thing. We'll have to figure it out eventually. So on this note, guys, this kind of closes the entire matches that we had to play today. That's 6 matches total. Lots of really great games. Now, I'd like to reiterate maybe a little bit of what happened today for those of you who might have just tuned in, because there were a lot of matches that were played. Thijs played twice today. So he got himself quite a... I mean, he had a pretty good day, I'd say.
Well, 2 wins, that's quite a run.
First and second win. He was 0-2 starting today, and he went 2-2, which is going to be quite good for him. He's going to feel a little more confident going forward in the next weeks. And Strife Crow climbed to the top of his ladder. Life Coach as well. Both of them are at the top of their group, respectively, Strife Crow and Life Coach. So that's going to give them a huge edge going forward. We're almost nearing the midway point of the entire league. So, you know, having that 4-0 score to start with gives you a lot more, you know, you can maneuver a little bit more safely in the next weeks.
And also, we kind of evened it out when it comes to matches. We closed the whole 4 weeks because we did catch up from that break that we had for a few players with the visit in China.
Yeah.
And now both groups, every single player in both groups played 4 matches. So we know how the exact situation looks in the whole league. So if you want to also check the tables and the schedule and the deck lists for the players for each match, you can go to kinguin.net/proleague, and then you have, you know, the schedule and the ranking.
Yeah, and there's also the recap on Friday that's being done by Callum Leslie from Daily Dot. He covers what's going on in Kinguin. In the Kinguin Pro League, if you haven't been able to follow during the week, you can just get the recap on Friday, gets player interviews, replays, talks about some of the highlights of the week. So that's always pretty nice to look at if you haven't done it, or if you even done it and you just want to look at it again, you can always do so. The stream is going to be live on the channel. So That being said, guys, we'll be back next week on Tuesday. Wait, before we tune out, one last thing. One last thing. We are still looking for casters for Kinguin Pro League. If you'd like to cast in KPL, Kinguin is looking for new casters. If you want to send your VODs with some footage of yourself casting a game, you can do so. esports@kinguin.net. They're going to be looking over the VODs and picking up some of the people whom they'd like to cast with, so that'd be kind of nice. On this note, for real, we're going to be closing the day and the week. So next week, week 5, we'll be right back. Tuesday and Thursday, Kinguin Pro League is going to keep going. Thanks for watching.
See you guys around.